Sean?
Yeah, shut up. Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Gem Drafter. It's the Sunday show with Payson, Burnett, and Super Packers and Newts. How's it going, Payson?
It's going well. We're here. A little wacky this morning, so we'll try to keep it neat. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
What's up, Jake?
Sunday podcast. Hello.
So,
Hello.
briefly, before we get started here, Payson and I are in a startup. We'll probably talk about this after the NFL news stuff. With Corey, aka Ronald Cavalier from the Gem Drafter Thursday show. He was up in the 5th round in this 14-team league and just took Matt Ryan.
Oh,
Ew.
So that means
Corey.
he must have not taken a quarterback in the first 2 rounds. Is that what happened?
Let me check his roster. Ronald Cavalier. He has Joe Burrow and Matt Ryan at quarterback.
Oh, Joe Bro. I like Joe
Corey.
Bro.
This is a 3-round reversal, not round robin. Apologies.
Oh, it's a third round robin.
Yeah. So that just happened. That was that ding. I don't know if the podcast listeners heard that through my system when we were doing the intro there. But anyway, what's going on, guys? Let's talk about some NFL news. It's still kind of that weird time of the off season where it's non-news mostly, but apparently the Arizona Cardinals website is hyping up Keontae Ingram. They said he's a strong candidate to be the number 2 back behind James Conner. Jump in Benjamin, obviously, then in the pecking order. So there's a quote from Cliff Kingsbury when you actually click on that article from their website, and he just said, basically he checked all the boxes, the work ethic, the character, all those things. He can play special teams. He's a big physical back. So it seems like he's on the right track to earn a roster spot and earn some playing time. He wasn't really on my radar because he's not a flashy guy. But then when you look at the workout metrics at 6 foot, 221 pounds, he ran a 4.53. Burst score is 57th percentile, but his agility score is very, very low, 24th percentile. And I don't think I mentioned 6th round draft pick by the Arizona Cardinals. Jake, I'm gonna start with you. Are you feeling any sort of way about Keontae Ingram? Are you on him?
He is pretty far off of my radar, but I do like the opportunity that apparently that he's going to have. James Conner is going really, really highly in a lot of whether it be best ball or just regular dynasty draft. He's up there. People know that he's going to have scoring opportunities, and he's literally the only guy. So he's not. Keontae Ingram isn't specifically on my radar, but if this rings true, I'm definitely going to look to get him somewhere for something because it's a very physical position, lots of injuries. So if he's the next guy up, I would definitely get on him quickly.
Yep.
Payson,
Same for me. I am a little more already on Keontae Ingram because I was thinking that Benjamin's just a guy. Now, Keontae Ingram's probably just a guy too, but whichever one of those guys is Connor's backup, I'm already heavily invested in Connor. So gotta make sure that I get some of the backups in case something that will not happens to Connor.
that makes total sense from your Connor standpoints. So like Keontae Ingram, probably 4th round, if not waiver wire ad. He's probably moving up though, based on this stuff and if there's still rookie drafts going on. So the whole reason why this came up because of this NBC Sports Edge blurb from the Arizona Cardinals website, but this was already on my radar as a topic of discussion somewhat because I made a blockbuster trade in one of my leagues where I sent away Elijah Mitchell, and I kind of in that startup draft I kind of locked up San Francisco. I went Mitchell, Ty Davis Price, and I picked up Jeff Wilson like way late. And the guy didn't include Ty Davis Price in that deal when I sent off Mitchell. And then he was trying to inquire about Ty Davis Price, and he was offering Ingram. And I was like, well, I think I'd rather just take the shot that I'm wrong about Ty Davis Price being being it in San Francisco. We never know what's going to happen. I kind of want that wild card versus having Ingram. Where are you at with Ty Davis Price or Keontae Ingram pacing?
So I still think you got to draft Ty Davis Price first of those two, but I think it's a very similar situation. So like they're not going to be, more than call it 20 startup picks apart, or they shouldn't be. And if they are, I think that's a huge advantage to go pick up more Ingram. But Ty Davis Price, third round draft pick, nobody seemed to like him before the draft, but that doesn't matter. Kind of toss out your priors and go with the draft capital, and for a running team too.
I think there's more upside for like a win now team with Ty Davis Price as far as opportunity and production. Like the draft capital's there. He's faster than Ingram, a heavy running offense. But then the arguments for Ingram are like before this last year, like in previous years, like everyone said Connor is made of glass, like couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
But then, when you dive deeper into that, it's like, well, Connor was recovering from having cancer in college, so like maybe he was still, it takes years to probably recover from something like that. So maybe he was just still working his body back. So then I want to just touch on a couple more here, either ors. Keontae, or are you taking a shot on Pierre Strong Jr. of the Patriots, who was a 4th round draft pick?
It's a firm head not no from Supa there. I think I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm taking Keontae over Pierre Strong. It's really just that whole Patriots backfield thing. Like I don't want to deal with it. He likely Pierre Strong has more fantasy points in 22 than either Ty Davis Price or Keontae, but you're not going to know when to start him, so can't do it.
So even though he's an athletic freak, you don't want Pierre Strong, Jake?
Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson, they're both capable running backs, and they're both in front of Pierre Strong. So
Kevin Harris.
Yeah, that too. So Ty Davis Price, it's not close for me.
Okay, what about Tyler Beatty? A lot of people's darling. JK coming back, Gus coming back, both from ACLs. You interested in Beatty over any of those guys?
Nah.
He's a 6th round pick, kind of like Keontae, but I believe is on the smaller side, correct?
Yeah, he's like a more cat back type.
Yeah,
I think Keontae's gonna. If Keontae is the backup running back for James Conner, it's gonna be Keontae. It's just the opportunities. He's one injury away.
So sounds like keep trade cut kind of for us is like as a consensus is probably Keontae and Ty Davis Price on like the same level almost, and then Strong, then Beatty.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Quick question that just came to my mind. Would you rather have one of those guys or like Jamal Williams?
So I'm going to go Jamal Williams, which is kind of weird because I don't actually like Jamal Williams. I hate how the Lions use Jamal Williams, but I'm afraid the Lions are going to continue using Jamal Williams. So I could see that year where DeAndre Swift continues to not fire because he doesn't get enough touches, and Jamal Williams is like the lead back.
I'll just take the unknown upside with one of these new fresh running backs, unless I am rostering Swift. Then I'll take Williams. Other than that, I'll go the other guys every time.
Same. I feel the same. I'm not like off Jamal Williams, but I just thought it was an interesting question to pose to you guys. So we can move on here to a guy that's been getting, I don't know if it's just hype or if it's actually Stefanski really speaking out about him, but David Bell seems to be getting some hype coming out of Brown's rookie minicamp. Like this report says that Stefanski said David Bell can play both outside and slot roles, so probably means more opportunity for him, the more positions on the field that he can play. And then there was a report that I don't know if it was straight out of Stefanski's mouth, but said that he said to the GM or something, or that he had to have David Bell. I don't know if that was just like kind of implied, or kind of taken out of context based on something else he said or something he didn't say. Are you guys, feeling up on David Bell right now, or are you staying the same, or Payson, how are you feeling about David Bell?
So I have a lot of David Bell, much more than I expected to have coming into the draft. Like after the combine, I kind of thought I'd have no David Bell. But then him getting drafted in the third round kind of said, well, draft capital is pretty good. And then if you take into account the draft capital with kind of the bad athletic profile, it's like, oh, well, you must be a really good wide receiver to get past how bad of an athlete you are. So as a bad athlete, he comps much better. So you've got like Jarvis Landry as like one of the perfect comps for David Bell. And so he's replacing Jarvis Landry. You could easily see him getting 120, 130 targets. And then you're like, well, year one production for David Bell. He's not going to be a wide receiver one. He's not going to be like that freak. But 2, 3, getting a bunch of targets, like he could lead all rookie wide receivers in yards and receptions year one.
Yeah, I mean, definitely could happen. A lot of opportunity for him, but also a lot of unknown as far as like the QB situation at the start of the year. I don't really know what's going to happen with that. Jake, are you up on David Bell right now?
I think we have to be cautiously optimistic with David Bell. The Browns offense, everyone thinks is going to be popping from day one. I don't think it's going to happen like that. I think it's going to be a little bit of a slow start for them until they get their feet under them. We got Donovan Peoples-Jones, Anthony Schwartz. Is he going to beat both of those guys out? I don't know. I think we should just be a little cautious with them. If you can get them, are you guys getting them at the end of the first or beginning of the second round, or where are you taking them at?
I'm like 2.3 to 2.5. That's probably been my range.
I think that's a safe spot to take them. I wouldn't. I don't have any David Bell just because I don't. I've got a couple other guys in that area that I prefer over him, but I think the opportunity could be there, but we can't expect him to get in there day one, like Treylon Burks, for example, and have the production similar to that. So
I'd be going Bell after Pins, Mechie, also after Dotson, just because I like Dotson more pre-draft. I know the situation kind of sucks, but I'm just gonna stick to my pre-draft guns and take Dotson.
Well, you get draft capital on your side too there. So I'm also a Dotson over Bell. Mechie, I'm probably going Bell instead of Mechie. But that's because Mechie's just a guy.
I just want Mechie purely because Newts wants Mechie. So I'm like, okay, I want Mechie now too.
I'm going the opposite direction, just hating on Mechie all the time. It's going to burn me so hard. Oh, well.
So I want to compare Bell to a couple veterans then. So Bell or Christian Kirk?
Bell.
That's tough. I've never been on Christian Kirk. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I think I might lean Kirk. It feels kind of gross to say that, but
I think it's kind of team dependent. Like Kirk's probably going to have more production this year, but the rebuild, you probably want Bell.
Is Zay Jones going to outproduce Kirk?
I don't know. Are either of them gonna outproduce the wide receiver one, LaVisca Chenault?
You mean Travis Etienne?
Yeah. You mean Evan Ingram? So then another veteran, David Bell or Kadarius Toney?
David Bell for me.
Kadarius Toney upside. I'll take that.
I'm on the Bell side. Brandon Cooks.
Bell.
Brandon Cooks is on a really good team, so I'll go Cooks.
That one's team dependent for me. On a strong win now team, I probably want Cooks.
Cooks is on a hot offense though. He's got a good QB. He's got good supporting cast.
What? So in all seriousness now, what about A-Rob?
Ooh.
If I'm competing, then I'd probably want A-Rob. Kind of the same idea with Brandon Cooks about the great offense, you know?
Right now, A-Rob feels so much better to have in your wide receiver 3 or flex spot. You can look at A-Rob's name and feel safe, but it could in a couple months we could be thinking a lot differently.
Yeah, I kind of like the quick reveal with A-Rob. Like, he was so bad last year. It's like, well, it was the Bears. Maybe he just gave up. And then if he's like dogging it for the Rams, then it's like, oh, we got to trade him week 1. Like, I don't care what we get. I'm taking a late third, like whatever. I'm just bailing on A-Rob hard.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually the father of the bride to be at that bridal shower that I took my fiance to yesterday. It was in Chicago, so he's a Bears fan, obviously. And he was like, I asked him, I was like, hey, do you think A-Rob was dogging it for you guys last year? And he was like, I don't know, but I don't know if he can be a wide receiver 1, which he's not going to be expected to be on the Rams. It's Cup clearly. And then last one, Gabe Davis or David Bell.
This is a smash for Gabe Davis for me.
Tied
This
to
is like
elite
not the same
QB.
tier.
Yeah. Well, this is it's funny you say that because I was looking this up on Keep Trade Cut to get these names, and I actually think they're pretty close on Keep Trade Cut. My screen's loading slow, so I don't have it right in front of me. But this was
Where
funny
did
too.
Bell go in the draft? Where did he get drafted?
3rd round.
Okay.
And Gabriel Davis was a
He's a 5th round or
2nd round pick, I thought, right?
Oh, was he? No.
He was a high pick. I'm gonna look it up right now. I got it right
Dun,
here.
dun, dun.
Oh, not Gabriel. Got gas. No, 4th round. My bad.
Okay.
Whoops. Listen to this though. I thought this was hilarious when I went to Keep Trade Cut to look up these names to put next to David Bell for comparison. This was the question they asked me. Keep Trade Cut: Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, or Donovan Peoples-Jones. I was like, think about that question 2 years ago. You'd have been like, Odell, Jarvis. Who's that third guy? Like now it's like it might be Donovan or Jarvis, Donovan, cut Odell.
Yeah, Jarvis is going to be the wide receiver 1 in New Orleans. We all know that. So 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. Lock it in.
1B. So yeah, I thought that was funny. Still not loading here for the. Oh, it's because I had to go back. But Keep Trade Cut has A-Rob after Dotson here, and then so I think A-Rob's actually the highest on there. Then Gabe Davis, then Cooks. I mean, there's people in between these guys too. Then Tony, then Kirk, and David Bell's right after Kirk. So that's pretty interesting. Makes sense though. Unknown of David Bell. So we can move on from David Bell now. A lot of David Bell talk there. Jimmy Garoppolo still yet to be traded from the 49ers. Associated Press's Steve Reed says the Panthers are still interested. That would be devastating for Matt Corral's value going in the late 2nd of rookie drafts right now. I mean, if Jimmy Garoppolo goes there, unless an injury happens, I doubt Corral gets a chance to see the field.
Yeah, he just never
Jimmy
played then.
Does Jimmy G ever play a full season though? Does he? I think he
can
gets
look
hurt
it up.
every single year. Maybe that's just my memory is a little cloudy, but
No,
I think that Matt Corral would still have opportunity if Jimmy GQ went to Panthers.
so I don't know exactly what happened in Jimmy's first year in San Francisco. It says here on Pro Football Reference, but can you guys hear my cat crying in the background, or is it not?
CJ Beathard?
No. Okay, good, because I can hear him, but I just don't want the podcast listeners to hear this intense meowing.
I'm kind of interested about the meowing now. I think we need to get him a microphone.
He's just. My girl went to the tanning salon, and so he's out there alone. So he's just, and I have the door closed, so he's just sitting out there crying. Because if I let him in here, he's gonna torture the girl. So it is what it is. Anyway, Jimmy played 16 in games in 2019, and then he tore the ACL in 2020, I believe, with that play where he tried to do a little bit more towards the sideline and then tore his ACL. Or was that 2018? Can't remember. But anyway, he's played 16 one season in San Fran and then 15 last year. So I don't know. I think he'll play. He might even play for San Francisco this year. I know this is kind of beating a dead horse, but I think the Panthers are more likely for Garoppolo, and I think the Seahawks. I think that this next report is just stupid. Like, so we'll kind of touch on both of these at the same time. So it's just quarterback talk now. Seahawks OC Shane Waldron said Geno Smith has the early edge over Drew Lock, and that does not sound good at all. But like Geno's been there since 2019, and Lock just arriving, getting acclimated. Do you guys think that this means that Geno's going to win the job? I mean, I don't really think so. I think this is just some BS.
Possibly. I think all three of us have an edge over Drew Lock for that starting job, so makes sense.
Yeah, I feel pretty bad about trading for Drew Lock because I'm not even confident he starts either. And like if it is Geno, like oh god, that's terrible. Just burned a late second round pick. Oh well, I've done worse. 50% of those guys are probably not going to be in the NFL come 2 years anyway, so it's okay. Like Dameon Pierce, like probably not going to be in the NFL in 2 years.
So, for the listeners only, Jake had a skeptical face there because he made a trade where he traded 23 second for Dameon Pierce this week.
Yes. So I traded a late, which will be a late 23 second because
because you're going to
awesome.
win.
Yeah, because my team is awesome. So I feel like I can always get an earlier 23 second back at some point later in the season. I already have Marlon Mack. My team name has Marlon Mack in the name. So now I have Marlon Mack's backup. So in case he gets injured, I'll have Dameon Pierce to fill in for Marlon Mack. So little context there.
It's very important to lock up that top 32 offense's backfield.
Yeah, they're a top 32 team in the world, entire world.
It sounds like you should trade Mack then and just hope Pierce wins out.
No, I need both of them.
All right. So anyway, I think my guess for Jimmy Garoppolo, and I guess like we're roping Baker into this because there was Athletics Jeff Howie or however you say his name reports Panthers and Seahawks are still kind of poking around about Baker Mayfield. My prediction is the Seahawks trade for Baker Mayfield and Jimmy G either stays with the 49ers for one more year or goes to the Panthers.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a trade. That's kind of my bet right now. I think Baker just gets cut because nobody wants to take on his salary.
It could be the same for Jimmy too, because it's only, I have it right here, 1.4 million dead money for San Fran to cut him.
Yeah, but the big difference there to me is like Cleveland has their quarterback of the future, whereas 49ers, they don't know yet. So if they cut Jimmy, then they are like really committed to Trey Lance, and I don't think they are that committed.
They need to commit. I feel like they need to.
That's scary for Trey Lance dynasty owners, man.
Oh, it feels
like right
bad.
now, just the unknown of how they feel about him.
Yeah.
I would be pleasantly surprised if Baker went to Seattle. That would make me feel a lot better because with this Geno Smith BS smoke that they're blowing, it's not looking good for the weapons there. Like I see a lot of people trying to jump off the DK Metcalf ship, and like obviously that would hurt Kenny Walker if that offense is just bad as a whole. But I think he'll still hold value with being so young, and I expect him to flash quite a bit.
Peach Cobbler
Yeah,
will make sure Kenny Walker gets his carries, so I'm not worried about that part of it.
I think you like Baker from a Seattle weapon standpoint. I think they still probably aren't a playoff team, and they probably should be doing the whole Drew Lock, Geno Smith tank fest. But like Beach Gobbler, he can't do that. He doesn't know how to do that. He's going to run the ball. He's going to try and win every game. It's going to be like 13-10 or 26-10. Either way, they're only scoring 10.
Yeah, it's not looking good for the touchdown upside of Seattle. I want these situations to get figured out.
I
want
want
know.
Tyler Lockett to be set free so he can sign with the Packers. Just please set Tyler Lockett free. I know you're listening to this, Peach Cobbler. I know you are.
Yeah. I think the big thing is the contracts that have happened now, because like DK is looking for that sort of like 30 million-ish a year. And I don't think there's any way Seattle pays that. So are they going to like let him be free, or are they going to franchise tag him and then he's going to like hold out, not play, all that nonsense?
Oops. Don't look at that.
I was going to say you got your queue up. See that queue.
You missed it. Don't worry, you didn't see
This
it.
this website has Rashad Penny as the first running back, Chris Carson is the second, Kenny Walker is the third string. Dude, I used to like this site for depth charts, but I don't know anymore. That's not good.
That's that mainstream mindset, like, oh, you have to put the rookie behind until he proves it. It's like, so let's just move on to this startup draft that Payson and I got in with the Dynasty Theory guys. I wasn't expecting to do another one so soon, but I just couldn't pass up this type of league with the players that are in it. It's definitely going to be a fun one. It's a pretty extreme league, actually. 14 team super flex, start 3 running back, start 4 wide receiver, start 12 total.
Start 5 tight ends.
You can. Yeah, it's 2 PPR for tight ends. So that was why I took Kittle in the early third. So this is my team right here for the viewers and for the listeners. I got T-Law, Brees Hall, Kenneth Walker, T. Higgins, DJ Moore, and George Kittle so far through 5 rounds. Traded up a little bit. But so my transition here, since we're talking about Seattle, I took Kenneth Walker over Christian McCaffrey in the middle of the 3rd round there. Let me zoom it in a little bit.
And you made your first mistake of many mistakes in this draft by doing so. I guess we're all kind of in agreement there. Just kidding.
Jake,
but
what are you feeling
I
about
do
that?
like. I do prefer.
I think you can. I would have probably went McCaffrey, but just so you can trade him for a little bit more later on. Like you could tier down. You could go trade McCaffrey in season for Kenny Walker plus.
No way, dude. Not if Kenny Walker flashes. Nobody is doing that in a sharp league like this.
I don't know about sharp league. Where did Tom Brady go?
Oh yeah. Okay, I get it. I would say majority are sharp in here.
I think the interesting thing, and this is like the podcast murderer's row of running backs, because you got Kenny Walker, who is your guy, then you got Christian McCaffrey, who is my guy, and then you got J.K. Dobbins, who is Corey's guy, to Corey, and then you got Saquon Barkley to end out the 3rd round, who is another one of your guys.
Yeah, Saquon got taken too highly too. Look at that.
Speaking of Saquon, Jake knows, and I don't know if Payson got that far down in the sheet, but I traded away Saquon in one of our leagues this week.
Man,
I guess he's bailing. It's over. The dream is dead. Couldn't even make it to June.
Wasn't so much that I'm bailing on Barkley as I'm kind of bailing on that team, because I was just feeling weird about my wide receivers. So it's a 12-team super flex, start 2 tight end, start 10 total, and it's 1.5 PPR tight end for tight ends. I felt good about my running backs being Najee, Barkley, and David Montgomery, and then I have Kittle and Kelsey at tight end. But like my wide receivers were Judy, Olave, A-Rob, and then like MVS, Hardman, and Chenault. So I was like, let me try to get my 23 first back from my brother-in-law, who I stupidly traded it to earlier this offseason. And then I originally offered him Barkley for 23 first and second, and then he shot back the Irv Smith 23 first and second for Barkley and A-Rob. And I was like, to be honest, I think people are chasing that 1,400-yard season from A-Rob, and I have no problem giving him up, just to get what I wanted. So I was cool with it. So the trade was, I said it, Irv Smith and 23 first, 23 second of my own that I received back for Barkley and A-Rob. I'm gonna do everything in my power to make that 23 first either Bijan or Jahmyr Gibbs or Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, I think that is one of the keys. Like when you come to realizing that you're probably not going to make it in a certain year, you got to bail quick. And if you don't have your first, you got to get it back. In one of our leagues right now, the Dark Remains has kind of come to that realization and told everybody in the chat. And it does not have his 23 first right now, and is progressively making that 23 first better with every trade he's making. So should have made that the priority one to get back that 23 first.
Yeah, if you're gonna bail, I feel like you should do it quietly, slowly spread it out a little bit. Because if everybody knows you're gonna rebuild, they're not gonna trade with you, and you're not gonna get what you would normally get. So Irv Smith though, I don't know about the Vikings tight end. I mean, you basically got him as a throw-in, so he's basically free in that deal. But I'm just not very optimistic for his future usage. So
That wasn't even like my idea. He sent that counter, and I would, if he would have sent the 23 first and second for Barkley and A-Rob, I would have clicked accept on that.
yeah,
Like it was just
but it's a start two tight end league. You could probably trade Irv Smith to someone else for something and to help you out. So
yeah. I mean, I'll probably just see what plays out with him this year, and then trade him. I'm trying to trade Kelsey now, and nobody wants him.
I'll buy Kelsey.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny is I actually got Kelsey from you in that league in a terrible looking deal now, where I traded you Joe Burrow for Kelsey and my 23 first back.
I believe you got Jared Goff back, so there you go.
Anyway, so yeah, I was, what's funny is you say like Payson about Dark Remains like not being subtle about his rebuild. So before I made this deal, I had actually, my quarterbacks were Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones, and Jared Goff. And I had actually put in Trevor Lawrence on the block as like kind of a smokescreen, thinking like, oh, I'm going to tear down from Trevor Lawrence to an older QB and try to be more win now, actually. And then I got such a weak offer for Trevor Lawrence. I was like, all right, I'm going hard in the paint for my 23 first. Everyone thinks I'm trying to win now, so maybe I'll be able to sneak this one in. And sure enough. Anyway, I made another insanely huge trade. I'm actually gonna. Do you guys want to talk about this startup at all more? Or do you want to just come back to it after I talk about this insane trade I made?
We can come back to it after the trade.
Sure. So kind of jumping around the show sheet here, but so I made a trade in a 12-team super flex start 4 wide receiver. It's a start 12 total, and it is I think it's staggered PPR, half point for running back, 1 point for wide receiver, 2 for tight end. It's only a start 1 tight end, but I went out and got Kyle Pitts and Javonte Williams, and then a throw in of Dontrell Hilliard, and I gave up Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Mitchell, Noah Fant, 2 23 firsts, and a 23 second.
So crazy, but such a good deal. I'm definitely on the Javonte and Kyle Pitts side. Like
Yep.
2 first, second round startup picks for a bunch of 5th rounders, I guess. It's like kind of 4 to 5 5th rounders.
Yeah, and this was a draft where I'll actually just pull up my team real quick. This is a draft where I traded back a bunch. And so I'm super young and I lock in Pitts as my tight end. Pitt's literally 21 years old, had 1,000 yards on one of the worst offensive teams. Got to be some positive regression coming for his touchdowns. He only had 1 touchdown last year. So my kind of reasoning behind this was just to solidify young studs on this team. Yeah, I don't have my 23 picks anymore, but I feel as if some of these 23 or 22 rather wide receivers that I'm betting on work out. This is going to be a pretty strong team. So I'm okay
Well,
with
I mean,
it.
Javonte is probably the best backup running back in the entire league, so that's a good get. I like it.
Yeah, I should send one of these other picks for the starter there.
Yeah, it's good to be just 1 injury away. Something like Keontae Ingram might be 2 injuries away. Javonte, I think, is clearly just 1.
So yeah, the way I break that trade down is I sent Fant and 2 firsts for Pitts, and then I sent Mitchell and Judy for Javonte, which I think is fine value for either side. And the 23-second, I guess, also. So those were my big trades this week. It's kind of getting slow right now. But to get back to this startup talk, so I talked
can't
about
believe
my team.
when you look at where Kamara and Akers went compared to Barkley and Dobbins. Barkley and Dobbins went in the late 3rd, and you got Kamara and Akers in the middle of the 5th. I think that's comparable production that you're going to get at 2 rounds later. I kind of like waiting to the 5th to get those running backs. So, Nick Chubb too.
So this is Payson's team right here. For the listeners, he has Tua at
He has
his
no
first
quarterback. Okay.
quarterback. Got the Waddle stack. Oh, he's got the Miami insane stack going with Tyreek as well.
Whoa, settle down there,
And
Payson.
then Mac Jones.
No, let's go.
Oh, McCorkle. I like.
So he took Mac Jones at the 302, which we kind of spoke in the pre-show. Like he was like, I hated doing that, but at the same time, it's like Mac is safe.
It's a last safe guy. Yeah. Yep.
So I understand that.
Yeah. So I kind of went high risk with my Tua pick, and then just like went hard in the paint towards, okay, if Tua is going to be a QB1, then I need Waddle and Hill to also be like wide receiver 1 / early wide receiver 2.
Are you
so
doing
like
the
wide receivers?
Are you doing the classic peanut butter trade back for picks move in this league or no?
Yeah, he has an extra first.
I just have 1 extra first right now. And I was actually going to try and trade into the 5th round here because it seems like everybody values the 23 first more than 5th round picks right now. But I have not been able to find the right deal yet. One of the trades that just went through was I think it was a 7th and an 8th for one of these 5th round picks. And so you move back 2 rounds and then got like an 11th back or something like that. So I would like to do that trade myself. I think there's a huge drop off in startups, especially in 14 team startups around the 8th round. So that's like the last time that you're getting people that are equivalent to a 23 first in value, or like a random first in value if you include 24s as well.
Looks like you have an opportunity right here with Ronald at 5'11". Like who's 23 first is the extra one that you own? Because I think you might want to hang on to yours in case like Miami is just terrible.
Yeah.
If Miami's terrible, you're terrible.
Yeah, true.
Because you're going to draft Chase Edmonds. I know you are.
I have T. Schmidt. I have his first. And yes, I will be drafting Chase Edmonds, assuming that someone does not reach on it.
Oh, you have Ronald's first?
No, I have T. Schmidt's first.
Oh, T. Schmidt's. Look at his team.
Schmitty.
So is that something you would do? Would you fire off T. Schmidt's first for the 5'11"?
Yeah, but I'd want more back just based on trades that have already happened.
Yeah, T. Schmidt's team, Stafford and Brady. That was the Brady picker.
JT and J. Jeff?
Yeah, those are solid.
Dang. That makes up for the Brady.
I think he is traded. Yeah, that was the deal. So Payson did do the classic trading back in this draft. He made a trade with FF coach Dan Lamagna from the Dynasty Theory podcast, who spoiler, I'm gonna spoil it right now. On the 6/1 Thursday show, Dan is gonna be joining Corey and I as a special guest.
Heyo.
June 1st. So watch out for that, guys. It's gonna be a fun one. So yeah, Payson, it's a whole mouthful, but basically he traded back 2 picks with Dan to move up in later rounds, and then he also made the trade with T. Schmid for his 23 first. He moved back from 109 to the 302 where he picked Mac Jones, and he picked up T. Schmid's 23 first. I thought that was a solid deal. But then let's put it into actual players. Jonathan Taylor or Mac Jones and a 23 first.
Sounds kind of bad, man.
Why would you say it like that?
Well, here, I'll give you another one. This was one I did. Payson and I talked about it pre-show. Jamar Chase and a 23 first, or so I drafted. I'll do it all the way through the trade. So Jamar Chase and a 23 first, or Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, and 23 second.
Yeah, Chase.
I don't
Chase.
know.
There's a lot
Breece
more
Hall and
moving
Kenneth
parts in that deal too.
Walker.
Like part of that trade also is like I moved up from in my move back from 206 where I took Fields to 209 where I took Breece Hall. Like I traded with Mitch that Mitch wanted Fields. He moved me up from 503 to 406, so I would have had Burks.
So
I got DJ Moore instead of Treylon Burks.
Yeah,
Hey,
and to
Burks over
me,
DJ Moore? What's with the silence?
DJ Moore over Treylon Burks, I think that's pretty similar. That's not like a big, huge difference to me.
But DJ Moore is much safer than Treylon Burks.
Is he though?
I don't know. There's no upside without the touchdowns, so maybe I'm straight Treylon Burks.
There's no upside when you just fail and fall out of the league. Also, like,
well, if that's your projection, that's totally different.
it's not my projection, but it's a range.
Yeah,
of things that could definitely happen.
Yeah. So at this point, I think DJ Moore is a proven asset in the NFL. Like he's not gonna go by the wayside, but I don't think he's gonna have 1,510 season. Like I don't think that's in his range of outcomes anymore. But I do think that's in the range of outcomes for Treylon Burks and Drake London.
I agree.
So speaking of Drake London, he went right after DJ Moore right there, ahead of Stephon Diggs. I thought that was a good spot to take him. Trader Joe, aka Zach Greinke, taking Drake London right there. This is his team, real quick. Shout out to Zach Greinke. Apparently, this is his team. Jake, are you a Brewers fan, Jake?
When I lived in Milwaukee, I'd go to a few Brewers games, and man, I miss Prince Fielder. Like I know every sport players get traded, but I really wanted him to stay in Milwaukee. But
I wanted Sabathia to stay too.
Yeah,
that was a good team.
That's a nice stadium, though. If you ever have a chance to go to a Milwaukee's Brewers game, it's a very nice stadium.
I'm gonna give a shout out to Greg Quirk. This is his team in this league.
Dude, we should have a podcasters weekend where we all go to a Brewers game. That'd be fun.
I have zero interest in a baseball game, so you two can go.
Well, we can drink beer and eat food and talk about football while we're watching baseball. So
I live about 22 minutes from American Family Field. No interest in going. I'll go for the
so easy
tailgate.
for you to
No,
go.
no. I mean, we're gonna eat food and drink beer and talk about football. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh, like a live stream podcast from the parking lot?
Yeah, there we go.
I would totally do that, and then I would just leave, not even go to the Brewers game.
All right, we can
'Cause I
just
don't
stay at
really
your
care.
house, drink, and podcast. That's fine.
I don't really care about baseball. And dude, to get an IPA in American Family Field is like $13.
Well, you
For
don't.
one.
There's no reason to be getting an IPA anyways, so that's fine.
Funny. Were there any other? I mean, so I kind of broke out and talked about that Matt Ryan pick by Corey in the 5th round, and look, Tannehill. That's a panic pick right there to me. Tannehill right after Matt Ryan at the 506 over Akers.
Why
Amo.
would you want Matt Ryan over Tannehill though?
I couldn't tell you, man. We're gonna have to have some intense discussion about this on Wednesday night.
I feel like Matt Ryan has like a year or two left in the
If that.
yeah, he's almost in Tom Brady status where it's like might be the last year. I don't know.
There was a
So
little go ahead.
14-team league. Now with Tannehill off the board, next guy up in Sleeper's random ADP, Davis Mills for that top 32 team.
Oh, Davis Mills.
When
Such a
should he
bright
go?
future.
Like, how early do you take Davis Mills in a 14-team league?
I think someone's going to take him soon.
Oh, Jameis Winston too is a pretty good value there. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to need to pick somebody up, but so is McSpanky.
Davis Mills should probably go in the 6th round, but he might even make it to the 7th. I don't know.
Look, the real McSpanky doesn't pick again until the 707. He does not have a quarterback left, or at all.
Dude, that's why you need to get an early quarterback in a 14 team, because otherwise if you're as much as I love Davis Mills, if he's your QB1, that's not good. Nope.
He's got Swift, McCaffrey, Antonio Gibson, and Debo. I think he has some extra 23 first though. Let's look at McSpanky here. For the listeners, I apologize. Where is his team? What's his team name, guys?
Oh, did he change it? I don't know what it is.
Oh, the Spanky Seagoats. He has 2 extra 23 firsts. So I don't get why I guess he's probably just taking what he thinks is value with McCaffrey and Debo, and he's going to try to dish, or he's going to make some moves with those 23 firsts.
Yeah, I mean, talking about like where 23 first should be valued, like 23 first or Ryan Tannehill. I think it's clearly the 23 first there. So if he decides he wants to compete, he could easily trade, I think, for Ryan Tannehill or for Matt Ryan. I would have said Tom Brady too, but I don't know. Tom Brady went around earlier, so.
I'm trying to get up here in the 602, 603,
Man,
604
I wish I was
range.
in this league.
I
would instantly
the
win.
603 available.
I see
You'd
that.
like to trade up?
Do you want a 23 second?
No.
Would you like a 23
and a
3rd,
startup
4th,
pick.
5th, and 6th round
No,
pick?
hard pass on the 23 second. So my thing
I have a
with startups,
basically done deal with Bauer to go from 703 to 602. Oh shit, he just traded it away. Shoot, I mean, kids, close your ears. Cover your ears. Zeb just traded for both of those picks. Dang it.
Yeah.
Live trade.
Wow, live podcast trade.
Oh, I hate Sleeper on the browser.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. It's worth it, right?
So this podcasting cost me because I also had an offer. Now that offer is gone.
TJ just offered me. TJ just offered me a Newts McBoots League, which is a 12-team Superflex start 2 tight end. He offered me Rashad Penny and Ronald Jones for Gabe Davis. Get out of here, TJ. Instant decline for me. I don't like either of those running backs. I'm cool with what I got. So before that trade just went down with Bauer, he was wanting to move me up from 703 to 602 for a 23 second. Would you, what side of that do you like?
What was the
Sorry,
pick
I was
again?
distracted by my own trade offers in that league.
So it's basically move up from, I'm at 703 startup pick to 602 for a 23 second.
Oh, just for a second? Yeah, I'd go for this. Yeah, I'd go for the 6 side. Who are you gonna pick
6
though?
for me too.
Let's put a name to the pick.
Olave.
Oh, I'd definitely take the 7th then.
Yeah. If it's Olave or the 7th rounder, give me the 7th rounder.
What
Okay.
other rookie wide receivers are available?
Jameson, Christian Watson, George Pickens.
Man, Jarvis Landry
Oh,
though.
Garrett
Jarvis
Wilson's still
Landry
there
doesn't scare
too.
you at all, huh?
No.
Nope.
So the deal he actually ended up doing was for 223 seconds, which was what I was trying to do, but this guy Zeb gave him an 8th round pick.
An 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Yeah, 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Ooh,
And
those
2
are
seconds to
those
move
are
up to
still those are
in a
still some good
14 team,
picks.
dude. It
Yeah.
starts to get sketchy in the
Wow,
10th, 11th.
you need a little bit of depth though, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
it's not a
because
bad
we got to
trade.
start 12. So, like,
Yeah.
every team is still drafting a starter in the 12th round.
Yeah.
Which is crazy
Yeah.
to think about.
Definitely crazy. So we are at 51 minutes. I think I'm gonna get us done in under an hour for once in this podcast lifetime with you guys being on it. I have some obligations this late morning and early afternoon. So do you guys have any parting thoughts?
Yeah, we'll have to come back to this startup. Yeah, next week I'm guessing we'll be done with how quick everybody's moving, but maybe we won't be. It'll be at least through 12, 15 rounds, something like
Yeah.
that. And you can tell enough about teams then. So I think that should be good. I think this league has been really fun. Nice to have a sharper group together. You can tell that everybody's a little nervous to get rid of their 31st. I think that might be my big takeaway from this week. Just see what you might be able to get for a 23 first. This is maybe the time to sell. Hype's a little too high right now.
So I see just one last thing here. I see Jake picking up Jayshon Corbin everywhere. New York Giants 15th string running back.
Yeah, he's behind a guy that is constantly hurt. Constantly.
Booker?
His name is Saquon.
Saquon's backup's a good backup to have, right?
Exactly.
So is
Say Glassman.
Deonta Foreman. He's pretty cheap.
He is pretty cheap. I also like Deontay Foreman a lot.
Right.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and get us out of here then for Newts, for Payson, for Supa. Have a good one, guys.
We out.
See you, boys.